Episode 9 of Barrels and Banter is here, and in this episode we have a banging tale, the Wasps invade, a firing line debate about the CL55 night licence, our field notes and anecdotes. It's your turn to shoot with drive names. We shoot it straight and we are myth busting. Deer can always smell you from miles away. We have a real field recommendation and questions and confessions.
Hello.
Hi.
I'd just like to say, if anyone's wondering why Celine always does the introduction, that's because that's a lot of words. And we tried it once, and I basically got sacked from doing the introduction.
And then Sarah went, you do sound better than me doing that. And I do get a bit muddled.
But then I did try it once, and I thought I was doing really well, and you just started laughing at me, going, why are you talking like that? And I was like what? I was trying really hard
because you're trying to think about all the things that you've got coming up to say. So then you start sounding quite robotic, like you're reading and like you're really like, hello and welcome to Barrel.
So basically I did it once, got sacked. So that's now Celine's part. Welcome everyone.
Welcome back to the pod. And we are going to start. This is not entirely, well, it is not actually really shooting related, but it's a funny tale. And because we're heading towards spring, I just kind of felt like it was appropriate. If you have, like us, a husband who is country based and thinks he can do everything.
I haven't got a husband.
No. You've got a common law husband, Sarah. There you go.
Thank you.
Who is country based and thinks he can do everything. Or you are one of those people. You may be the man that thinks, yes, this is me. Then strap in.
Oh,
so quite a few years ago, we had a cottage that was literally in the woods. And we did periodically used to have problems with wasps because of the way that the tiles were laid. Do you lay a tile?
Leaden.
The way the tiles, perfect, were leaden on the roof. That'll do. The way the tiles were leaden on the roof, there were little gaps. And so sometimes you would get wasps going up underneath and creating a wasp's nest up underneath the tiles in the cavity. Mm-hmm. And one day we're heading sort of springtime and I was outside in the garden and the dogs were all out there and I was like, there was a lot of wasps around and I thought, well, this is getting a bit heavy now. We really need to investigate where this wasp's nest coming from. And they were going in and out of this one patch of tiles. So I mentioned it to my husband. I said, look, I think the wasp's nest is there. He comes and he has a look and he goes, I've got an idea. We've got a beekeeping suit. So I'll go and get the beekeeping suit on. I'll go and get some wasp killer. I will put a ladder up and I will deal with the situation. And off he goes. He's now togged up in the garden. We didn't own bees, by the way. I would just like to say this. This was kind of one of our...
Do we want to know how or why?
You know us and our crazy ideas. This was one of our crazy ideas. It actually never led to having bees, but I still have the beekeeping
Still got
suit.
the bees, because you never know when you might need it.
So he's up there. He's got his beekeeping suit on. He's got his wasp killer. And I'm just in the house, child, dogs, etc., spraying away. And then suddenly I just hear shouting, get in the kitchen and shut the doors. Make it a conservatory. And I just ran downstairs, shut the dog's child and I in the conservatory and kind of just listened to the carnage that ensued. And what had happened was he'd sprayed so much foam and the wasp's nest was so big and heavy, it had fallen through the ceiling into the bedroom and the entire lot had literally brought the ceiling down and we're now just an entire swarm of very angry wasps. We're now going like lappity-lap around the bedroom, down the stairs, they're in the kitchen and I'm just stood there with the dogs in the conservatory going, we're just going to wait here for a minute, I think.
How did you get them all out of the house?
Well, that wasn't my problem because, you know.
That wasn't my problem.
Mr. Fixed it. I did do the hoovering after. We did actually have to get someone to come and replaster and everything.
Oh my God, that must have been a hell of a wasp nest to fall through the ceiling.
Huge. It was absolutely huge. Like, I think the weight of it, then he'd sprayed some foam on and because it had then saturated and then I presume the foam had gone and the weight sitting on that plasterboard. Can you imagine if we'd been in bed? That had fallen through in the night.
Imagine that land on top of you. That would hurt.
I'll leave you with the vision of me just sat in a fairly bare conservatory with a child. Just excuse Sarah for a moment, who can't decide if my house is too hot or too cold. So it's 90% of the time saying, it's really cold in here, and has now gone to a strip down. And probably in 5 minutes' time, we'll decide that actually she's made an error and we'll put her gilet back on.
I'm going to be doing gilet on, gilet off, gilet on, gilet off throughout this podcast. I don't know. 1 minute I'm boiling and then I'm cold. So Bear with me, my regulator's not regulating.
So Sarah, talk to me. We have a debate this week and it's about the CL55 night licence, which if nobody has seen the news and all of the things that have been coming up, they've brought in an option to shoot deer at night. But obviously with that comes a series of caveats and rules and things. So tell us about it.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad thing. I know some people might be up in arms saying, oh, you know, it means everyone's going to eradicate the deer and there's going to be no deer left and all this. But I think if you haven't maybe stepped outside of your world of my fields with little pockets of roe deer on, you don't see sometimes the extent of how bad the deer population is in some areas.
Yeah, I mean, where we are, we actually haven't been infiltrated by muntjac, by Chinese water deer or by fallow.
No.
So, but yet you drive along some main roads heading back through areas of Hampshire and these sorts of things. And obviously there's plenty of other places, Norfolk and all sorts of places up in Scotland. And you can see vast quantities of deer. I mean, sometimes it looks like you're looking out over a farmed vista, and actually,
do you remember that
it's just
video?
deer.
That reel I did. I went down to Exmoor one day and I found loads of red deer down there just on my jollies. There must have been 200-300 in that one group. Imagine in the winter them trashing through your farmland.
Yeah,
like the damage that's going to do. So I think it is needed in certain areas, but this is why I think when you apply for it, you have a survey done on your land.
Yep.
So somebody will come out with a drone and do a survey to see if you are overpopulated, whether it's necessary and you do need that night licence. And then if they do see that you are overpopulated, then they will grant you the licence. But it's done on we have seen that you've got this many deer, so we are going to say that you can shoot 100.
Yeah, so they're identifying what would be a good number to maintain or decrease the population, like you say, not eradicate the population. Yep. No one's there to do that. But for some of these places, and I know, you know, you've been to some where you'll go and do your Chinese water deer stalking or high seating more, where a group of you go. Yep. But obviously you only have a certain window in the day to achieve it. And some of those places, they're very lucky that they can get a team of 10 people together that will all shoot one evening or one weekend. But actually there are plenty of places where you've only got 2 or 3 people trying to control a vast population. Number, then when you account for the seasons, and then when you also account for, you know, sometimes it's not possible to shoot, it's incredibly wet, it's incredibly misty or whatever. If you then add those in and then say, well, really your window is, again, early morning into the evening before dawn and dusk, actually this will help some of those just get on top of it, I think. Yeah,
and because obviously most deer come out at night anyway. You'll know from when you go foxing. With all the will in the world, we can go deer stalking and not see any deer, but then you go out foxing and that's when they're all out and that's when you see them. So it's going to be a really good time to try and get on top of those numbers. So I don't think it's a bad thing, and I think it sounds like it's being well managed in that those surveys have to be done. And I think to be able to have that nice night licence, you have to have a minimum of a DSC1 or PDS1.
Yeah.
So I think that's quite good. So it's not going to, not to sound horrible, but it's not going to go to that new shooter that's just gone, oh, well, I want a night licence.
I think
maybe isn't as experienced.
Yeah, when you see the headline and it says, you know, you could basically, some of them are sort of sensationalised, well, deer shooting is now available at night, and you suddenly go, whoa, hang on a minute. But actually, when you get
everybody,
when you get down into the nuts and bolts of it, the reality is it's not. It's obviously going to be tightly controlled. And at the minute, as I understand it, but you might correct me if I'm wrong, thermal's not included in this licence?
No, so from what I've read, it's like night vision, like your day-night scopes with your IRs on, because you can clearly identify with those, but not thermal at the moment. I don't know if that will come in. Potentially. Lamping, yeah. Old-fashioned lamping. God, those were the days. Does anyone even own a lamp anymore?
I don't know, actually, to be fair. That's real old school.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. Be interesting to see how it goes.
And interesting to see who is thinking about applying. If you're thinking about applying, let us know.
If you do it, let us know how you get on. You know, was it a real help? Was it a huge success? Would be interesting to hear some feedback.
And what the parameters are. Is anyone going to get turned down? You know, how many people are going to get one of these licenses? Because it sounds like it's obviously not cut and dried. It'd be interesting to see who gets them, what actually on a piece of paper what the criteria are, but what actually it turns out to be when someone does come and assess the land. It would be interesting to see who does and doesn't get them.
Yeah. Now we are on to our field notes and anecdotes. What have you been up to, Celine?
If you can hear gurgling, that is my stomach, but it's not actually related to this.
There's always a bodily noise coming from you, whether it's a burp or a stomach grumble in these podcasts, I swear.
I think it's because I just can't stop eating while we're doing them.
We do. We feast before we start these. That's probably the issue.
Not good at all. So we are... Well, I've basically done a lot of paperwork, Sarah. That's what I've done. An awful lot of paperwork. We're pretty much there with our spreadsheet. I feel like I'm at the point where I feel like a head teacher for a school, spreadsheeting all of these guns. I really like shooting with John.
I feel like you jumped there. You said I've done my spreadsheet, but you haven't told people spreadsheet for what? You just said I've got a spreadsheet, and
do you want to know what I've got a spreadsheet for, everybody?
You kind of jumped the gun there. This spreadsheet could be for anything.
No, hang on a minute. This is what my husband says. What are you talking about? Yeah. What is the context? I need context. Okay.
Start again.
Everybody else, could you just strap in? The context is I've been sorting out my gun list for next year. And
for the syndicates.
And I've got I'm really good friends with John and I would like to shoot with him. Okay, but John only wants to shoot on Tuesdays now. Oh, well, I can only do certain Tuesdays. Okay, they're not the same as John. Oh, Malcolm is not my friend, but William is. Excellent. Perfect. Hang on a minute.
So organising children for a school trip.
Yes. So I'm spreadsheeting and that is now pretty much done. And we are heading on to the outdoorsy bits. So my other half has got a digger in and he is on pen building. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put a new pen in one of the drives, and in order to do that, obviously a small amount of clearance, not much because you want as many trees as you can. Mm-hmm. A small amount of clearance is going to happen just to allow the exterior perimeter fence to go in, which will protect them from predators. We've talked about these, I think, in previous podcasts. These are not pens as maybe some foreign people would know it. British pens are open topped. They've got re-entry
Pheasant
funnels.
Hotel, I think we called them.
Pheasant Hotel, we did. So we're on to those sorts of things now, and just finalising my last bits of paperwork. But it's been a mission.
Celine loves a spreadsheet and organisation.
Well, I'll be swearing next week because I'll be doing the spreadsheet.
I actually saw by Celine's front door as I came in a laminated sheet of the week ahead.
Yes, there is a laminated sheet of the week ahead.
The week ahead, so you can write on there times of things, who's doing what. You're very, very organised.
I am really organised.
I just wing life, as you probably have
I can't do
figured.
I've got lists of lists, spreadsheets for spreadsheets.
I was presented with a folder when I arrived this morning to record this. Celine presented me with a folder and a load of paperwork, and I went, wow.
She actually said, gosh, we haven't that long finished the shooting season. Have you been doing all of this? I mean, no, I've been doing this for months, Sarah. I'm on this. I'm working my way through.
Celine is the organised one of this podcast. I would just like to put that out there. She puts a lot into this. She is the organised one, and I'm very grateful for when I just arrive with food and go, woo, let's record.
And I go, right, this is what we're doing. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Been out deer stalking again. Well, a couple of times. No success though.
Going well.
Yeah, it's going really well.
Did we not have this in our? I think that was our last.
Yeah,
podcast,
we went out, didn't we, and had no success.
Yeah.
I've been out again since. I decided to whiz out after the school run and take my little boy with me. I thought
he has been hassling for a while. He wants to go with you.
I thought, well, it's shit or bust. It'll either work or it won't work. What's going to happen? So we went. We saw quite a few. I wanted an easy stalk for him. He's only 6. We were about to both just say the same thing.
He's not actually shooting.
No, don't come at me.
She just suddenly went, whoa, I don't mean that.
He's a hell of a shot. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So yeah, he's only 6. So he wanted to come with me. We found a few, didn't work out. And then we did come into one deer, which I was like, right, game on. Perfect. So got out, sticks up, rifle on sticks. And bless him, he did everything I said. He stayed tucked behind me. He was also trying to film for me.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Roped him in.
I'll have to show you the video. I did that dual capture that you can do on the new iPhones.
Oh, yeah.
But half of it's grass, half of it's him pulling funny faces and mouthing to the camera going, be quiet, which is quite hilarious. And I thought, right, we're on to a winner here. And with that, I had this vehicle and I thought, oh, and that's going to come right by where I was. And it was a neighbour of where I was who then decided to have a really loud conversation with me. I don't know this person. I've actually never met them before. And he went, hi. I was like, hello. Yeah. He's like, what are you doing? Well, trying to be quiet for one, hence why I'm whispering. And then he was fine. He wasn't horrible. We didn't fall out. He just didn't understand shooting. And
curious is what you would say. He was a curious person. He wasn't an anti. He was just curious. But unfortunately, he was curious.
Very loudly.
5 minutes too early.
And our gun's legal in the UK. And I thought you had to be a farmer to be able to own a gun. And are you allowed to shoot deer? And I do sometimes feel like saying, no, John, I'm just stood in this field with a rifle because I just love to go to jail. It's just my hobby. Broad daylight, trying to get caught. But yeah. So anyway, and then so the deer then ran away, to which my little boy said, God, why is that stupid man talking so loudly? I was like, oh, I know.
We interrupt this podcast to bring you a new feature. We were having a think the other day about drive names because my husband and I absolutely love naming the drives on the shoot. I feel like spring, heading into summer, is the time where people start making up new drives and then suddenly go, oh my gosh, what are we going to call it? And some people just call things like the Big Wood. And some people call them the Hill. And I'm like, no, guys, these things need to be thought through. Now, I have a couple of them that I don't think are particularly dodgy, but just amused me and tickled me from years ago of drives that I know. But then you ask people to send you some in. And Sarah's got a couple of crackers, but we also want more. We want to make this a feature.
Yeah.
We need to inspire the next generation of drive names.
Yeah. And if they're funny ones, the reason behind it. Give us some context as well.
So there's a couple. We did have a drive many years ago called Bowling Alley.
Right.
Because it was really long and straight and thin. Really simple.
Yeah.
But we loved Bowling Alley. And I also went to a shoot many, many years ago and they had a drive called Sarsfay. Do you know Sarsfay? It's a ski resort.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
We were like, well, why is it called Sarsfay? Like, it's a hill. It's not particularly steep. And they said, oh, Daddy felled the trees many years ago. And we all went on holiday with Sarsfay for the cost of the forestry.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, okay. That was Sarsfay. And you have some which might be slightly more on the rude side, I feel.
These are well up my street.
Are they?
Yeah. So we have got Dog-in Drive.
Well, I can guess.
Well, not what you think, because I was going that way. As one of the picker's dogs apparently ran in and ruined the drive, so they renamed the drive Dog-in Drive.
Oh, Dog-in Drive.
Dog-in Drive.
I was thinking you meant dogging.
So did I.
Oh.
Dog-in Drive, yeah.
That's a good one.
That is a good one, isn't it? We've also got the Dog's Bollocks.
Yeah.
So called this after the keeper's lab misjumped a jump over some barbed wire fence and left his bits dangling.
Oh, shit the bed. Oh, my God. Oh, sweet Jesus. I bet that was a vet spill. Probably more than your emergency space, Sarah.
Oh, well, let's hope. Make me feel better. And we have Viagra. Viagra Drive. It got its name because shot it really well once but couldn't keep it up. So that was fantastic.
That's really good.
Yeah.
I think I had a chap write a thing and he said all of our drives have the same name.
Oh.
Yeah.
How can you have them all with the same name?
They're all called, well, that went shit.
There are some good ones out there. So we'd love to hear more. They are keeping us entertained.
They are
for
keeping us entertained. And if you've got any ideas for the pod, send them our way. But send us your drive names and your reasons behind them too, please.
It doesn't have to be yours, shoots that you've been on. Like,
absolutely.
Not everyone has their own drive names.
Do they not, Sarah? Surely everybody has their own shoot with their own drives.
I don't.
Oh,
I don't.
Oh, dearie me.
I know. I haven't got time for that.
We are going to be myth busting. Can deer smell you from miles away?
Depends which way the wind's blowing.
That is the key. Let's be honest.
I would say, so there's some people say that they can see you, they can smell you. Like, everyone has a different opinion. Like, oh, you've got to hide because if the deer see you, they'll run away. But I do believe it is more on smell. You're right, they can smell you. But you just need to get the wind in the right direction so that they can't smell you.
And I think miles away is probably a bit of an exaggeration.
Miles away is an exaggeration. I don't think their noses are that
maybe
good.
if you're up in the Highlands and you've got a strong wind and you've got a completely open area. But where we are, that deer is going to have Devon hedges and trees and fields and great big woodlands and whatever else between you and it, and hills and goyles and everything. Granted, if you were somewhere completely open on a moor, maybe you might get some degree of distance. But actually, in reality, you'll watch gillies when they're up in those places take the route by going all the way around the outside to come back on like the correct way to the wind. But where we are, there's not really a lot you can do, because a lot of these places you can't necessarily get on the right side of the wind.
No, it is a tricky one. I've been out before and the wind's just totally wrong. And for the land I'm on, like you say, there is no other way around it. So it's kind of, I say shit or bust. I just think, well, we'll have a walk around and just see. You just never know. But you know the wind's not in your favour. But
we've had others where the wind's been blowing towards a deer and we've just been stood there and it's been like, it's literally right in front of me. Mm-hmm. And there's never really a true accounting for it.
And another interesting one, actually. So I did put a video on my Facebook. You might have seen it. There was a buck walking in. I was in a high seat. It was coming down the hedge line. Didn't know I was there. Came literally, well, I probably could have dropped something out of the high seat on its head. It was that close. But it was quite interesting, actually, because it got that close. But just as it started going past me, where wind was then blowing me towards it, all of a sudden it then just went, oh, then it twigged on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they can smell you, but look how close that deer got before it could smell me.
I wonder if, and obviously I don't know the answer to this, you may do. You know when you have like a Labrador and you're out, or a gun dog, sorry, a Labrador. That's just my prejudice.
That was very biased there.
That was my prejudice coming in there. When you are out and you're on a shoot and you're looking for pheasants and you're picking up, etc., and you can get dogs that have a really good scent day and a really bad scent day. I wonder if there is a good scent days and bad scent days on the wind. There's moisture in the air and all these things.
I would imagine so, because you're right. Like when we're out picking up some days, we'll look at all our dogs thinking, what the hell's going on? Why is no one finding anything?
I wonder if there is something in that. I'd be interested to know if anyone knows that.
Sometimes deers get colds.
Deers
Gets colds.
Deers gets colds.
Great, man.
Are you okay?
So yeah, I think
I bet there's someone out there with a PhD on this. Tell us your deer thoughts.
Deer's thoughts. Okay, so we are now onto our recommendations, and just because we haven't really spoke much about deer in this episode, I thought we could go with your recommendation this week, Celine. What's yours?
Oh, it's the Deer Hunter heated gilet. And basically it is my recommendation because Sarah was wearing one and I was very enthusiastic about it, having been very scathing of it. I would just put out there because I do not want a Deer Hunter heated gilet. I don't need a heated gilet. I'll be boiling. That looks rubbish. I can't cope with being too hot. Followed by, Sarah, I'm really cold. What's your gilet like?
That was a day that you were shooting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I ended up loading for you, and it did get cold. And you are not a cold person.
I'm not a cold person, but I think when you're stood still, and the problem is you layer for walking around, and then I was stood there and I was getting colder and colder, and the temperature just plummeted on that last drive.
I was having to hold the gun so she could borrow the hand. We were taking it in turn. She's like, you hold my gun while I just have a go on the hand warmers, and then I gave her the gun back once her fingers had warmed her. I said, I'm quite toasty actually in this lovely heated gilet I've got on.
And I was so cold. And then I hadn't really appreciated, I suppose I was just being really thick to be fair, that you can turn it off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of the point of it. Whereas actually, the reality is you put your gilet on, that's one layer, but it's like 3 layers because you can turn it on or turn it off. Whereas my brain had just gone, I will be far too hot.
It'll just cook me all day.
I hadn't appreciated. Actually have to have it on, Celine.
Well, mine has come in perfect for your shoot because your shoot involves a lot of walking where you're basically stripping down to a t-shirt because you're so hot. Yes. But then, like you say, you're then stood waiting for the drive to get going, waiting for it all, and then all of a sudden you think, God, I'm really blooming cold now.
Yeah. Especially if you're stood on a couple of our drives, we've got the wind that come off the sea, and that you
Out stalking, sat in a high seat. Perfect. It's for those when you're not doing anything, you do get cold.
Yeah.
So you just turn it on. I think it's got 3 settings, isn't it? Cool, medium and hot. And then once you get going again, that's it. I just turn it off and I think it's a game changer.
Yeah, because I think when I'm moving around, I'm naturally always quite warm and I hate feeling hot. I've just got a thing about it. I'm like the person that likes the bedroom at 14 degrees. I'm like a window open, -5.
I had to fight with her to have the heating on to record this podcast earlier. Because I couldn't feel my fingers.
We don't need the heating on, she's just being wet. But basically, I put it on my birthday list. And now I am the owner of a Deer Hunter heater shielding.
Oh, fantastic.
Which I'm actually looking forward to wearing when we go out stalking. We've really got to do an actual high seat one, you and me, where we actually shoot something. I feel like we've done some high seat ones, never shot anything. We have sat in some high seats.
We sit.
Yeah.
We just don't.
We even sat quietly in the high seats.
I know.
Nothing.
No, we'll try again. We need to get some high seats down at yours for this summer, actually.
Yeah, we did say that last year.
We did say that last year. It didn't happen. We'll work on it for this summer.
We need a double high seat where we can sit together.
Yeah, but I did come up with the genius idea, actually, that we have 2 separate high seats at 2 different locations and radios.
The radio would be quite loud, wouldn't it?
You're loud anyway, so it makes
could just put it in your ear.
Yes.
In an ear, we could be like MI5.
Yeah, because we can be like, copy Deerstalker 1, this is Deerstalker 2. Have you seen anything your side? And we might have double the chances of shooting stuff.
Wasn't it a few podcasts ago that you were laying into somebody that was going dressed up in like army kit to go shooting, and now you want to do Deerstalker 1, Deerstalker 2 on radios?
Hey, don't come at me.
I think we
can abuse other people, but you can't abuse each other. That is rude.
Is that the rule?
Yes.
Okay, I take it back.
Thank you.
That's really cool, Sarah. I love your idea.
Thank you.
Confessions and questions. The confession will be arriving soon.
Will be arriving. That's quite ominous, isn't it?
It is ominous, Sarah.
The confession will be arriving soon.
For anyone that doesn't know the ominous part of this, Sarah does like this word, but not necessarily used in the correct context, and would say things like, "Oh, this sandwich is ominous." Is it? Well, sandwich is ominous. What, cheese and ham? Yes, it's lovely. Not really ominous though, is it? But now
it's just, it was, I don't know, it was my favourite word at the time until Celine ruined it for me.
It was Sarah's favourite word at the time, used in any context but the correct one. Then we did a video together and I taught her the correct term for ominous, and now she's right in there.
Celine's been learning me.
We have got a question though, Sarah. And the question is, we're back in the room with gun dogs, guys. My dog steals birds from other dogs occasionally. How can I stop this? Now, this is an interesting one because it's not very easy. I'm no dog trainer, and I've said this before. I can only say what I would do in these situations.
Shoot the dog.
That is a solution.
Option 1.
Probably not the best solution.
Option
that you've
2.
ever come up with. Option 2. If it's done in an area that is close to you, I think you've got to get after the dog. Mm-hmm. I've had it, and I don't really ever have it with other people's dogs. My dogs are not brazen enough to do that with somebody else's dog, but have been known to do it amongst each other. I suppose the familiarity of the pack, mother, daughter, all those sorts of things, they can have that as a thing occasionally. If they feel like they've not had much picking, I find it's on those days that it can be particularly bad. January, you always finish January thinking, oh God, my dog's a nightmare. But part of it is there's less birds around in January. The days tend to be smaller. Obviously not necessarily for everybody, but for a lot of people, you're doing your January small days, your mop-up days, more walkabouts and things. And the dogs can tend to get a little bit more frustrated than they maybe would do around October, November. And I find that if one of my dogs is coming out of, say, a hedge and another one went to go and take the bird, if I was close enough to do the don't you dare, like don't you dare kind of thing, then I would do that and very much praise the dog that was bringing it back to bring it back to me, whilst then ignoring the other one. Mm-hmm. If dog 2 took it off of dog 1, I actually take it back off that dog, make them sit, give it to the other dog and highly praise the other dog and then ignore them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying this works for everybody. I can only say what I do. And as I've said before, you know, there are a lot of dog trainers out there. If you do have this as a really severe problem, then I think you need to actually go to a gun dog club or a proper dog trainer or go and have an actual lesson. But I find that for me, that can be a solution, because you are praising the dog that's bringing the retrieve back and you're saying to the other one, no, you don't get any praise whatsoever for doing that. That's not acceptable. This is what I'm looking for. And then I will try and go and find a retrieve for that dog that is entirely their own, on their own, so that they then get praise for their retrieve that is for them. Now, whether that be that I end up putting a bird out and sending them back on it, that's fine. But it needs to be away from other dogs.
So we often, like when we're doing training in the summer, we do scenarios like getting the dogs, my dog and your dog, to retrieve right past each other. So they're literally one's coming past the other. So there's that temptation of the running in, or that they could snatch a dummy if they want to, but it's just teaching them to be patient.
And also, if you could get two dogs doing retrieves at the same time.
Yeah.
So we've done that before. I'll send my dog, we'll throw two dummies out, I send mine, then you send yours. And it's you're not going for the same bird as that dog. You're being directed to bird retrieve, whichever, number two. But making sure they're not like directly next to each other, so there isn't any competition. It's all about positive outcomes. If you can avoid a negative outcome, then you're already 90% of the way there. Go on.
No, go on.
No, you go on.
You go. Okay.
I don't want to go. You carry on.
I was going to say also, it might not seem relevant, but throwing dummies around your dog and then you collecting them. I know that's, to some people, but that's not teaching your dog not to snatch, but that is teaching your dog that not everything is theirs.
Yes.
Just because it's on the ground doesn't mean that's yours. It's only yours if I tell you to go on that.
Yeah.
It's not for your decision to go, oh, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine. So that scenario can help sometimes.
And my other one would be, when I have a young dog and I start bringing them into the pack, I will often do a retrieve and my other dogs will sit next to me. And if one of them goes to move, because often the young dog goes, oh, they've got something, I'll go and join in. Mm-hmm. And I will specifically choose an older dog that wouldn't give that up. Obviously, it's great if you've got multiple dogs. If you don't, then that's harder, but you could recreate it with a friend.
Yeah.
Where that dog is coming in with the retrieve, sometimes, especially if it's like their daughter, they'll go, oh, I'll have it. Can I have it off of you? Yeah. And I will specifically make that dog reiterate the sit. I'll be like, no, you sit. Take the retrieve off of the dog that's done the retrieve, and then reward with a treat, a biscuit, a pat on the head or whatever, the youngster that's sat watching that retrieve come back and they've not got involved. Yeah. Because it's about separating at what point the other dog that would want to steal can get involved. You can't get involved with another dog. If I'm praising this dog for coming back, you are nothing to do with this. Yeah. And it's having a boundary that says, my praise is for this dog and you can't come in sideways and start muscling in on this. Mm-hmm. This is for the retrieving dog, not for the dog that wants to just get in on the action. And it's kind of...
You just have to be one step ahead as well, don't you? Like, I know my black lab has been guilty of it a couple of times. She doesn't do it all the time, but I've always, where I can, got eyes on her. And if I see her, I think it's more so with my other dog, like you say, than other people's dogs. So when they're together, I can see her, like Fawn will be coming back with a bird and Seeker's starting to like deviate towards her. And as soon as I see that, I just go, like, and she goes,
or you want to call them back and you want to go, Seeker, come here.
Yeah. Just instantly, before she's even got there, take her away from the situation and go, oh, okay. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to nip it in the bud as quick as you can.
Yeah, and be on it and know that it can be a problem. And I think sometimes you get these people and they're like, well, my dog would never do that. And it's utterly ridiculous that somebody else's does. That's great that your dog doesn't do that. But do you know what? Your dog might do something else. Your dog might do something else that my dog doesn't do. Yeah. I think we shouldn't
They've all got their own quirks, haven't they?
And all of them have their own issues at some point or the other. It's just how you then deal with it. And I have had very few times that my dogs have been stolen, have had a bird stolen by a dog beyond my pack. Yeah. And I don't think my dogs are really...
However, this year, I thought we had that scenario.
Oh, yes.
We were out on a day's picking up at Celine's shoot and I don't know, we were like walking through a wood, weren't we? Sweeping a wood.
it's really narrow paths because it's all been trimmed through, and they're quite narrow, and there's like some banks and bits.
Your dog came back with a bird, and I was like, oh, your dog's coming back, Celine, with a bird. And then I turned round to see my dog with that bird in its mouth, to which I went to tell her off, and you went, no, don't tell her off. And I was like, why? And what happened?
Willow basically doesn't like too much pressure from another dog. So she'd come back with the bird, and Sika was stood up on the bank, not doing anything wrong, just looking to go down, but waiting for Willow to come up. There wasn't really enough space for the two of them to pass each other comfortably with Willow with the bird in her mouth. So Willow got to Sika and went, oh gosh, I'm going to struggle to pass you. Here, you have this. Dropped it right at her feet, went to go round, and then Sika went, oh, okay, thanks. And then just stood there going, I've got this for you. And Sarah was like, how did you get that? And I'm like, no. But they couldn't pass each other. And I was stood just behind Sika, and Sarah was stood just in front, and they just kind of done this weird thing where she's gone, I'm not going to make it through
I
this
thought
gap.
she'd stolen it and was about to get a telling off, and then Celine saved the day. She was like, no, don't tell her off. It actually wasn't her fault.
Willow just went, and here you go, you can have this. I'm just going to get past you.
Here's a free bird. Carry that one for me.
Worked quite well for me because I didn't have to carry it back. So.
Maybe you're training them to do that. Willow, spit that at Sarah's feet as one less to go on our carrier.
Watch out, or the dog training bandwagon will be on me. You let your dog spit dogs at other dogs' feet. No,
all the time. No, I'm joking.
Thank you.
Celine's dogs are very well behaved.
What was it you said about not bashing each other?
Oh, sorry. Celine's dogs are the best dogs in the whole wide world.
Our confession is a bit different this week. It's not actually my husband's confession, but he's just going to briefly pop in and tell us a story from one of his old good friends. So here we go.
I had a friend called James. He went to university, and he was seeing a young lady there I think she's called Fiona. And after being going out with her a couple of months, he got an invitation to go shooting at her dad's estate. He got up stupid early, drove up to the place. It turned out to be a stonking great Elizabethan mansion house. Turned up for a day's shooting, which went very well, and then back to the house for the evening, which turned out to be a black tie-do. He'd brought the kit. So changed up and went down for what turned out to be a 4-course dinner. Mm-hmm. All the wines, etc., and then into the snooker room for a game of snooker and some brandy and cigars. By the time he went to bed, he was fairly well oiled.
Right.
Woke up in the wee small hours, absolutely busting for poo. What he hadn't checked out was whether it was en suite, because he'd just gone up there, got dressed and gone back downstairs again. So he thought he'd better adventure out of the room and see if he could find a loo. Opened the door, went out, this big long corridor with lots of closed doors. Mm-hmm. Now, still pissed out of his brains, but realises he doesn't want to go blundering into her father's bedroom and completely blow his chances. So he potted up and down the corridor looking for something which would give him a clue that there was a
not knowing
toilet
which door is
within.
which. Yeah,
exactly. Eventually, panicking, went back to his bedroom. He's hopping from one foot to the other, absolutely busting himself, thinking, what the bloody hell am I going to do? And then he spotted that there was some newspaper on the floor. And what he thought he would do is poo on the newspaper, fold it up, and take it out in the morning, smuggle it out. Hopefully she wouldn't realise what he was doing.
Yeah.
So he dropped his army trousers and did his business. Absolutely relieved as hell. Stood up, turned round, leant over to fold up the newspaper, and discovered to his horror that it was a patch of moonlight coming through the window. Suffice to say, he wasn't very popular in the morning.
Basically, just shit on the floor. Oh my god! Was there a dog around you could have blamed it on?
In the middle of the night, Polly came up and did a shit in my room.
Oh my god! A dog broke into my room
and pooed on the carpet.
I love how you've already got an idea of what you would have said, though. You were thinking.
How embarrassing!
I feel like in the situation before.
Yeah.
No. Oh wow! So it's just the moonlight reflecting on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my god! How embarrassing!
And the other one, which was similar, was somebody had a similar dilemma, and they pooed in a sock.
Oh.
And they tied a knot in it and lobbed it out of the window.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
But it caught in a tree. So there was a sock with poo in it hanging just outside their bedroom window, and they couldn't get up to get it down.
And that I'll start that again.
Go on.
And that wraps up episode 9. We will be back with episode 10 in 2 weeks' time. Please let us know if there's anything that you would like us to include in any future episodes. You can message us on all the socials. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review, everybody.
Yeah, if you haven't done that, why not? Come on.
Take 2 seconds.
Just stop. Don't give me excuses.
Just
2
click the button.
seconds. Just put a thumbs up. Just put anything. Or you can write, "You two are amazing." You know, I'm not putting words into your mouth, but just a small review would be great.
Now you feel the pressure. Do it.
Do it.
Do it.